Welcome to the premiere of the League Weekly Recap to League BTF 2024 edition. This is Commish Dan the Man, coming to you live from Waterford, Michigan. Here we go, baby. Alright, in matchup number 1, we had Comrade West, Commish himself, going up against K9, just scored again versus Michigan. Juice is loose, Mike Jurikny. A battle of old De La Salle pilots. And man, did I think Juice had me beat from the start. Chase Brown and Rico Dowdle went off. When I saw Rico Dowdle's catch in the end zone, tipped, and then it fell into his lap, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm going to get smoked today. But boy, did I not count on Colby Parkinson to go throw up a goose egg. And then DJ Moore was there, very disappointing against the Cardinals. Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara both had great days. Trevor Lawrence had a decent day, but Jordan Love mightily disappointed against the stud defense in the Detroit Lions. I had a stellar day from pretty much everybody besides Xavier Worthy. Daniel Jones went off for 26. He had the ultimate stat line in the first half. 0 yards, 1 passing touchdown. Insane. Tua put up 19. Devon Achane with 32. CD with 16. Hopefully his injury doesn't keep him out this week because I badly need him. Tyler Lockett with 12. Hunter Henry with a 12.6. Xavier Worthy, though, with minus 1 point. That was very troublesome for me. I'm like, is this guy ever going to get going? J.K. Dobbins looks like he's back in his Ravens realm with 24.5 points. Comrade West comes away with the victory, 188.5 to 149.73. After the 1 o'clock games, Juice looked like he had it in the bag. After the 4:30 games, Comrade West came around. Let's go to the next matchup. We had Surge North Golden Slabs, John the Bone Balone against Gavin Ambrose. I thought John had a chance. Honestly, he's leading going into Monday Night Football. He had a great outing out of Justin Jefferson, the best receiver in the league, minus this guy, Amon St. Brown. Xavier Legette looks like a solid draft placement for John. He's still really, really thin. I mean, he gets carried by Stafford, Kyron Williams, and Jefferson and St. Brown. But having those 4 on the same team is solid. The rest of his team is very, very thin. So the fact that he was leading going into Monday Night Football, even with Jackson, Smith, and Jigba going for 37 for Team Gavin, is pretty wild. But Gavin had terrible days out of Laporta and Puka because he got ejected for punching a dude. It wasn't even a punch. That was a bullshit ejection. Barron would agree with me, big Rams fan. But I mean, he had solid outings out of Baker, Sam Darnold, and James Cook, and Aaron Jones both gave him a combined 24 points. So Kareem Hunt came through on Monday Night Football and got him the victory, and Team Gavin is 8-1 and in first place in League BTF. He's looking solid. Let's see if he can choke it like he did last year. He choked on it hard, like gagged on it, and lost. So we'll see if he can pull through this year. The next matchup, we go to Malik These Nuts, JD Haraka against Joel Ginley, Cleveland Buckeyes. This game was a solid matchup. JD, I don't know what he was doing starting Travion Williams. Like, I get it, Zach Moss was out, but, like, you could have picked up anybody else. I mean, he wasn't... I mean, that was a tough one. I mean, you lost by 35, but, like, starting any other running back, that would have helped you there. But solid outings out of Mahomes and Allen. I mean, they've been solid for him this year. This is probably one of Mahomes', I think it was his best outing. Let's double check that because he's had a pretty bad season. Let's see. Not a great. Hold on, let's see here. Yeah, easily his best outing by 7 points. So Mahomes has been averaging like 17 points, including that big outing. So good weeks out of those two guys. Lad McConkey in the wide receiver 2 spot is kind of crazy. Chris Olave, though, the concussion, that's going to hurt going forward. Romeo Doubs, terrible game against the Lions. So, I mean, starting Cedric Tillman would have been solid, but you can't really forecast that. I mean, you can't really forecast Olave getting hurt like that. Barber Harrison's been the most inconsistent motherfucker on the face of the planet this year, so that's just a tough one. So, but I mean, Joe Burrow's been lethal this year. I mean, he's the number 3 ranked quarterback. When he's fully healthy, he continues to prove that he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, especially including in fantasy. Geno's been kind of ass this year, but throwing up 25 solid. I mean, Ginley only had 3 guys under double digits, and they were all in the flex, defensive player, and kicker spot. So you can't really doubt him. I mean, he started all the right guys, minus Rome Odunze, and a good pickup by Amari DiMarco. You might need him come bye week. So, I mean, 21.7 out of Cade Otton. He's been consistent as fuck. I mean, he's the number 3 wide receiver or tight end. The last 4 weeks, 21, 29, 18, 11. I mean, Cade Otton's been as consistent as they come at the tight end position. And he's got Khalil Shakur on his flex, Malik Neighbors, and Drake London. Hopefully Drake London's injury isn't too serious. He's questionable going into this week, but 34 and 25 out of Burrow and Smith, and 12 and 14 out of Rashad White and James Conner are gonna do it for you. So 158 to 123 for Cleveland Buckeyes. He moves to 5-4, still in playoff contention. Malik, these Nuts might have just gotten eliminated from playoff contention. We'll see though. It's a heavy 45 to 23 division this year. 8-1 for Team Gavin, 6-3 for the King and I, 6-3 for Comrade West, 6-3 for the champion Rats over in 42 and 27, and the rest of the league is 5-4, 4-5, or 3-6, except for John, who's pretty much eliminated at this point at 2-7. But I mean, it's still up for grabs in terms of like the final 2 playoff spots. All the teams that are sitting at 6-3 are sitting really nice right now. So Cleveland Buckeyes are currently slotted in at the 6th seed right now at 5-4. So you just got to keep winning pretty much, at this point. Let's move to the next game. We had the Nasty Rats going up against the King and I. This was a battle between my Uncle Steve and Nard Dog, a former De La Salle pilot. This was a slow-scoring game. If you would have told me that the winner of this game would have only scored 130 points, I would have told you you're fucking shitting up a creek. But the King and I, even though Dak got hurt, he still got 13 points. Cousins had a great day at 26 for King Henry. I mean, he's the number 1 running back in fantasy, and it's not even close. I mean, the dude's averaging like 22.6 fantasy points per week. It's stupid. David Montgomery is almost as consistent as they come behind King Henry at 12.6 points this week. Jaden Reed, he's been kind of inconsistent, but he's still the number 10 wide receiver in fantasy football, so you got to slot him in at wide receiver 2. Michael Pittman, disappointing week with Joe Flacco at the helm, but DeAndre Swift came through at 14.2. And the rest of the team just kind of got it done. The Nasty Rats had a piss poor week. I mean, he started Derek Carr and Mason Rudolph. The Nasty Rats might have gotten eliminated with this loss, but I mean, their QB play has been the worst in the league next to my team, who's started Daniel Jones and Justin Fields predominantly this year. So the fact that he had, a combined 35 points between Carr and Rudolph is pretty impressive. But, the rest of his team didn't really do much besides Darnell Mooney, and that kind of hurt him. So 130 to 110, the final in this one. We move to the next matchup, and that's going to Team Stu versus the Champion Rats. A little bit, going into this week, Team Stu traded for Jameis, so, that was a permanent trade, and, when we talked about, it possibly being a rental, it stewed some emotions, with Jake and Barron, so I didn't hear any other protests against the weekly rentals after, we kind of discussed that Sunday afternoon, but, it appears to be a permanent trade. Jameis Winston only had 11 points, so it didn't really make too much of a difference. Team Stu, if he would have just not started another quarterback, would have still won 151 to 145. So didn't really make a huge difference, but I still understand, why Jake and Barron are have a reason to be challenging the idea of it being sharing players. I get it, but it's kind of like I said in my message, it's a very unique league. I don't play in any other league that rosters two quarterbacks starting, so I don't really have too many other leagues rules to kind of play off of, so we're just really going with the flow here. And like I said, I'm open to any options or suggestions that anybody has, but like I said, I really do enjoy having two QBs starting because it really challenges you to manage your roster through and through. Every other league you can kind of get by with, only having to worry about having one backup, and they can have a shit week even on your week that your starter's got to bye, and you might be able to make it. Whereas two quarterbacks starting every week in our league could be the difference between winning and losing. Some of these games are very close. So, anyways, going back to Team Stu versus the Champion Rats. Jalen Hurts with 31, Jameis with 11, Jahmyr Gibbs with 14, Javonte with 10, Devontae Adams with 22 on Thursday Night Football. That was probably a really good start for Stu. He was feeling good after that. And Cortland Sutton with 24. He had the passing touchdown, rare opportunity. Only touchdown in the game. Cortland Sutton threw it, so that's weird. But he's been a weird player this year. He's a top 21 fantasy player, but he goes 24, 17, 0, 15, 5, 15, 13, 3, 8. So it's a very weird year for Cortland Sutton, but he got the job done this week. 12 out of Trey McBride, 18 out of Tank Dell. Tucker Kraft in the flex is wild, but he was kind of short that week, so I get it. The Champion Rats just fell short. They had Brian Branch only had 1 because he got ejected. Cameron Dicker had 1.5 points. That's just, he's averaging 9, so that's tough. And Tyrone Tracy had a bad game, and Kyler Murray had 4 points. So the difference was really Kyler Murray just having 4 points. If Kyler Murray has a decent game, the Champion Rats win this game. Champion Rats go to 6-3. Team Stu goes to 3-6. Probably, more than likely, Team Stu's eliminated. But if he wins out, he might have a shot. And the last matchup of the week, we had the Battle of Miami Law School patrons between Team Fisher and the baby emojis. Jared versus Barron. This was actually a highly contested matchup. Team Fisher is pretty much the Jets. He had, 41 points after Thursday Night Football, which included Breece Hall with 10, Braylon Allen with 0.9, and Garrett Wilson with 30. But huge days out of Quentin Johnson, Justin Herbert, Jaden Daniels, and DeAndre. DeAndre Hopkins obviously won him the matchup on Monday Night Football. But, going into that, if DeAndre had a week like he had in his first week with the Chiefs, Barron would have had a chance. He was up by like 5 or 6 points, I think, going into Monday Night Football. Caleb disappointed, David Njoku and Tyler Algier disappointed, but Evan Ingram had 12, McLaurin had 15.9, Cooper Kupp and Chuba Hubbard and Bijan all had 21, Bo Nix had 17. I mean, the majority of his team played decent. 144 can usually get it done for you, but just DeAndre, Quentin Johnson, Garrett Wilson, Herbert, and Daniels carried Fisher. Big win for Fisher. He goes to 5-4. Goes back into playoff contention. Like I said, I believe he slotted in at the 5th seed. Yep, 5th seed. If the playoffs started today, it'd be Team Gavin at the 1 seed, Champion Rats, Jake at the number 2 seed, the King and I number 3 seed, Comrade West, myself number 4, Team Fisher number 5, Cleveland Buckeyes, Joe Ginley number 6. So, but there's still, honestly, the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seed are all up for grabs still. And the teams that are 3 and 6 aren't out of it. So Juice, Stu, JD, all still in it. Barron's still in it. Ginley and Fisher right in the thick of it. Still a lot of season left to play. If we look ahead at week 10, we got Team Fisher versus Comrade West, myself, coming in this week. All I'm going to say is that I hope Javonte Williams has the worst performance of his life this week, just to make that $60 Cooper Rush ad feel even better for you. We got K9 just scored again versus Surge North Golden Slab, so pretty much the loser of this game is eliminated from the league. They'll either have 7 or 8 losses depending on who loses this game. Projected 150 to 136 right now in favor of Juice. K9 just scored again, so we'll see how that goes. Fisher and my game are pretty much pick 'em. It's 156, 153 projected. The next matchup, we got Team Gavin versus Malik These Nuts. JD versus Gavin. So this will be a good game. 160 to 133 is the projection. Gavin's projected to win. We'll see if he can continue this streak. Got a couple guys questionable, so you never know. Next matchup, Cleveland Buckeyes, Joe Ginley going up against the King and I, Steve Rose. This one's projected 157 to 148 in favor of Cleveland Buckeyes. Looking at the starting lineups, I honestly favor the King and I. Cousins, Flacco, Henry, Montgomery, Pittman, Flowers, Kincaid, Swift. Well, I guess he started Jermaine Burton, so that's tough. Yeah, I mean, this one's going to be a fun one to watch, so we'll see what happens in this one. Nasty Rats versus Team Stu. Loser of this game gets eliminated. They're both 3 and 6. It's projected to be a low-scoring affair. Stu's projected to win 142 to 127.5. And then last but not least, we got the Champion Rats going up against the Baby Emojis. The battle between King Baron and King Champion Rat Jake. They had the podcast together, so a little bit of a rivalry week going on between them. It's pretty much a pick-em, 150 to 142 projected in favor of Team Baby Emoji. So we'll see who comes out on top this week. I appreciate all of you guys in the league. Continue to, pose any suggestions, any comments. I enjoy the league banter in the group chat. Everybody's getting more familiar with each other. Tier 2 of having the same 12 guys in the league. And I appreciate everybody's participation. I love having each and every one of you guys in the league. And last but not least, go fucking Lions. This is the year, baby. We're winning the fucking Super Bowl. Let's go.